We still have options. We also bought rights to finish the Nicaraguan canal. And basically the Nicaraguan canal, the ship would come, it would land all of its cargo at a dock. They'd load the the boxes and cargo onto a railroad train. Railroad train would go up the mountains till it got to Lake, and then they'd cross it over on a boat where it would get to docks on the other side. They load up the cargo onto railroad trains, go all the way down, and load it back up on a boat. Be much slower, but still a heck of a lot quicker than sailing all the way down South America. So, we go to Panama. We bought the rights to the canal. We go to Panama and we say, we go to Colombia. Because Panama was the state of Colombia. We go to Colombia and we say, listen, we will pay you $10 million. Every year, we'll give you $250,000 if you let us do the canal. And guess what Colombia said? Colombia said no. I'm so sorry. Well, no. Well, if you can't come in the front door, what do? Guys, if the front door's locked, what do?
Go through the back door.
Yeah, you try the back door. We go to Panama, which was the state of Colombia, and we say, you know what? We offered Colombia this great deal. They said no. Hey, you know what, Panama? The sad thing is, if you were a free country, we'd give you the same deal of $10 million and $250,000 a year. But you're not a free country. You're still in Colombia. So all of a sudden, Panama says, you know what? I think we do want to become our independent country. And they revolt. Just happens that the USS Nashville, a battleship, is parked at Panama City, preventing Spain from landing any troops. So, Panama's given its freedom. We're true to our word. We build the canal there. And it takes us more than 7 years to build. In 1906, Roosevelt actually visits the site. There you see him on the crane right there. And because he left the country to go, that made him the first president to travel abroad while in office. And of course, today we'd probably be shocked and horrified at some of the stuff because we recognize that a lot of the malaria was being carried through mosquitoes. So not only would they give them in quinine and give them mosquito netting when they were sleeping, but in areas where there was like a swamp, they would just dump kerosene on top of the swamp, and the little mosquito larvae, they need to go up to water like this and basically break the surface of the water with their little mouth and breathe. That's how they're able to breathe. That's why they tell us if it rains, like during a Texas summer, don't leave standing water around because mosquitoes will do it in there. And basically if you cover it over with kerosene, then the mosquitoes can't break through the kerosene. They'll get no oxygen and they die. So what do you do after a few days of that? You set the kerosene on fire. Domestically, Teddy Roosevelt was known as a trust buster. He moved against meat, oil, and tobacco trusts next. Indeed, he prosecuted more trusts than had any other previous president. The first one that gave him a try was an anthracite coal miner strike in Pennsylvania. Now guys, we don't know this because we don't use coal a lot, but anthracite coal is kind of like the super premium unleaded. It burnt the hottest, it burnt the best, it didn't produce that much waste. The workers, they wanted $8 an hour. $8 a day. And the mining company said, no, we're not going to give it to you. Well, guys, we're not getting coal. Pretty soon you start to have coal supplies down. Schools are having to close. Hospitals are having to close because they can't heat them up. So basically, Roosevelt goes in and warns the owners that if they can't clean up this labor dispute, then he's going to bring in the army and reopen the mines. So of course the mines, they go ahead and they acquiesce. Then we get to Roosevelt's second term. Okay, just like his cousin would have the New Deal, basically Teddy Roosevelt wanted the Square Deal. The Square Deal basically was, I shall see to it that every man has a square deal, no less and no more. After reading The Jungle by Upton Sinclair, and remembering that in the Spanish-American War, more people died from tainted meat than from actual battle casualties, he passed the Meat Inspection Act of 1906. He passed the Pure Food and Drug Act of 1906 that forbade dangerous dyes, chemicals, and filth that were contaminating foods. Because guys, it used to, there were no rules. So it used to be, if you had an apple and the apple looked a little cruddy, well, people liked red apples. So what would you do? You'd dip your apples in red wax. Now the red wax might not be good to eat, but you'd sell more apples because they look prettier. Well, they said, no, you can't do that anymore. And the Hepburn Act basically blocked unreasonable freight rates by the Interstate Commerce Commission. Now, even though I told you about some of the stuff we did in order to get the Panama Canal built, Teddy Roosevelt actually was a very environmental president. He saw how much of our, and this is way back when, he saw how much of our resources were being used up. And he wanted to preserve places with natural resources to balance out all the resources that were being taken out. So working with John Muir, a Scotsman, he really expands the national park system. And in 1908, he picks his successor, Secretary of State William Howard Taft, who didn't want to be president of the United States. I want to be a Supreme Court justice. His wife said, "You're going to be the president." Okay. You read? Any of y'all been to Yellowstone? Nobody here's been to Yellowstone? Oh, yeah. It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Pretty pretty.
Really pretty. Lots of natural, beautiful, incredible stuff. Any of y'all been to Glen Rose Park? I think that's the name of it. It has the dinosaur footprints. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, my uncle lives right there on it.
Oh, really? How cool. Of course, what's so funny is they've got, it's religious warfare there. There's a Creationism Museum. Then you got It's All Fight Museum. What are you talking? I'd love to do a documentary about the opposing viewpoints. Well, guys, why did we have the attack why were we in 9/11? Why were we in Iraq? Why are we still in Afghanistan? Well, you can thank Teddy Roosevelt. Because he believed that America should be the policeman of the West. That we needed to keep other Europeans away from Venezuela to avoid European repossession. Basically, he adds the Roosevelt Corollary to the Monroe Doctrine, which gave us the right to exercise international police power over Latin America, which of course now has been extended to the world. Now, the opportunity to do this actually came with the Dominican Republic, as the government could only pay 45% of their, as they couldn't pay off their debtors. and European people were coming, we're gonna invade. So basically, Teddy Roosevelt worked out a deal where the Dominican Republic would get 45% of their taxes, and the foreign countries that they owed money to would get 55%.